Today is Monday, November the 16th, and the McClellan oscillator pushed right above the previous high, really well into overbought territory, and we know that it can stay there for a while. We've seen it before. This is really a special time. They say that it's because of there's two COVID vaccines out there now. Where are we heading to? Clearly we're heading higher, but a retest of 35.88 might be in order, but we really are, without a doubt, heading higher. The weekly shows it as well. Let's take a look at the volatility index, which continues to drop. It's soon going to fall into this area of real complacency and no fear at all. So that would be down at 2070. So we're not far from that now. The NASDAQ is not making new highs, but it's heading in that direction. The Dow Jones opened at a new high and closed at a new high, and closed at well, that's pretty potent. Apple up over $120 today, and we can see that we were looking at the Chiku span right here. Let's get rid of the green line, and we've got the Chiku span that, you know, if there's a drop tomorrow, then we've got the Chiku span under the candles, and that's going to be resistance. It's going to be a tough play for a while, but we do have the flat cloud that should attract, but we would need quite a jump tomorrow to clear 124.20 for the Chiku span to be way out in the clear. So let's keep an eye on that. But on the weekly, you can see we're at the 78.6 Fibonacci level, back to this high retrace. If we don't take the all-time high, but we take the closing high, then we're safely above 78.6, and we've come down to test it several times, and we should be heading back to 131.18. Caterpillar continues to strive towards that D target. AT&T opened up like gangbusters today, but it pulled back. It's above the 38.2 for this particular Fibonacci wave. If we look at this drop here from November 19 to March 20, this set of Fibonacci's right here comes into play, and this set of Fibonacci's here, and we are above the 23.6, but on this smaller wave, we're above the 38.2. So that's a pretty strong stock, paying over 7% dividend. I'm glad that I added on significantly. I think about 25% of my stock added, in this low area here in the 26, 35, 27 area. NIO is the stock that, of course, we're all looking at. This is extended hours. So when we closed today, let's just take it out of extended hours, and we closed right at 38.2% of this Fibonacci wave right here. Now, we were looking at the Woody's pivots. Let me just take this Fibonacci out of here for a second, and let's look at the Woody's pivots. We came down to support number 1 right on the open, but we never made it up to the pivot point. So when we see something like that, we want to look and see what else is controlling the technical moves. So we would take a Fibonacci and we would draw it from the previous high to the previous day's low. So that would be Friday's high to Friday's low. And now we've got those Fibonacci's. Take out the Woody's pivot points, and you can see that we stopped at the 38.2% level of Friday's high and low Fibonacci. So that's another thing to superimpose onto your Woody's pivots. They often will align. Woody's pivots, you can see that the, where are we? Let's put in the Woody's pivots again, and you'll see that Woody's pivots really do align well with the previous day's highs and lows. Look at the pivot point here, and look at the 50% Fibonacci, very close. The resistance 1 is very, very close to the 100% Fibonacci line. So take a look at those as well while you're looking at it. Anyways, let's look at after hours, because their earnings is tomorrow before the bell, but we did have a pop after hours up to the pivot point of the Woody's pivot. So that's what we were unable to reach during the day. We reached it after hours, and then we pulled back. You can see not a lot of volume. So I'm holding stiff with 1,300 shares, but short the weekly calls of 41, 43, and $55. And on good earnings tomorrow, I'd like to add to this stock. I'm very optimistic about the stock, even after this big pullback because of some announced hedge fund short selling. Remember when Tesla was sold short for so long? Remember when Greenlight trading partners got into a shorting war over some nutrition company? You know, they're just trying to manipulate the stock price. If you believe in the quality of the product and their potential in their marketplace, stick with it and don't listen to the hedge fund people. When they short a stock, take a look and see if that's not an opportunity to buy back at a lower price.